These cargo trailers are tough. They're built to take a lot of abuse. But that being said, I still spend a lot of time maintaining my trailer and doing repairs and maintenance on it to keep it in tip-top shape. Let me show you what today's project is. The fenders on these trailers take a lot of gas. And you can see down the front here, it's all pitted from gravel coming off the tires of the tow vehicle. There's not too much I can do about this to buff this out. I mean, it's rough. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to buff the sides as best I can and buff the back. And then I'm going to paint the front. Something that I can keep up and just redo every year just to keep it looking a little nicer. So today I'm starting out with some Blue Magic metal polish and just a car polisher. And I've already been working on this a little bit. And like I said, it's so rough in here that this is, I mean, I could sand it and everything, but it's so deeply pitted from rocks and everything that I'm not going to mess with that. So my idea is to polish this edge and then polish the back. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this on the front with a paint that I can renew every year or two. Some kind of a bed liner kind of a paint. But the reason I'm polishing this edge, even though it's rough here, is because from the side I want you to be able to see that the continuous fender without it being like cut in half. I think that would be kind of weird. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. Now I know a lot of you are thinking that I should just replace the fenders, but that really wouldn't solve the problem. A year from now they'd look like this. So I'm trying to do something that I can renew here. Well, I got this fender looking quite a bit better than it did. Now it's time to do the other side. At least this one's in the shade. Well, at this point, it's ready for paint. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and paint this Rust-Oleum truck bed liner that I purchased for this job directly on the aluminum. Normally, you would prime aluminum with an etching coat, a primer etcher. This aluminum is so etched and sandblasted that I don't think I need to do that on the front of these fenders. And if it doesn't work out, well, then I'll just have to use some paint stripper on it, maybe next year or something, and do it again. But anyways, it's going to get 2 coats, and we'll see how this works. This is the product I've decided to use. And like I said, 2 coats. So we'll see how well this works out. It does have a texture to it, and I'm good with that. I think that'll be fine. And the reviews on this are pretty good. It says it is pretty durable. I ordered this online, and it doesn't appear that it needs much in the way of stirring. There's nothing stuck to the bottom or anything. Probably should have rolled it on. I'll roll on the next coat. Boy, it's going fast though. It's looking to me like I should have at least sanded first, but up on top, down in the front here, the paint is going on just fine because it is totally sandblasted. Up on top, I think I should have sanded first. It might not make any difference, I don't know, because it doesn't get much abrasion up there either, but I think y'all should sand. And this does have a texture in it. It's a grit texture. I can feel it. And it does suggest rolling it on. So the next coat in a couple of hours is going to be rolled on. All right, that's it for right now. Well, we'll see how the second coat looks. First coat dried really nice in about 2 hours. Oh yeah. Definitely roll it. Don't brush it. I was just being cheap, that's all. It's got grit in it, like a non-skid deck paint. It looks pretty durable. That looks nice.
Smells really potent.
Yeah, but it's water-based.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it was
Wow.
oil-based, but it's water-based. Let me just touch up around the edges here a little bit. All right, let's go do the other side.
Okay. What size paint can did you get for this?
I got a
job?
quart, and it
Doesn't take very much.
this stuff comes in a spray can, but everything I read says the spray can is mostly just malfunctions. Of course it would, because it's got grit in it. This is super easy though. This is just nice. I like the fact that I can touch this up anytime and don't have to put up with the ugly dinged up fenders. Well, I think it turned out pretty nice. One thing to consider though is, let me give you some words of wisdom here. Copper and brass are green, aluminum is gray, and steel and iron are brown. And if you remember that, it'll make your life a lot easier. Well, anyways, remember my fenders were damaged on the front just from being severely pitted to the point where you know, there was no bringing the luster back. Aluminum should normally not be painted. It forms a protective aluminum oxide coating on it that protects it from the elements, and it just turns kind of a gray color. And if you want to, you can just polish that or buff that out, and it's not that hard if you use a good metal polish and a buffer. I couldn't do that on these. So it was either replace them or paint them, so I did. Now let's talk about primers for a second. Primers are kind of a hit and miss when it comes to aluminum. You may find a primer helps. I suggest if it's a nice, if you've got to put paint on aluminum, I do suggest you use a primer. This is something that's going to have to get repainted every year or two anyway, so I didn't. But one thing that's really important is that you sand or rough up the surface, and you should probably use like a 120 grit sandpaper and sand the whole surface. Now I didn't sand these because they were naturally sandblasted anyway, but towards the top of the fender next to the light, it was kind of smooth up there, and I noticed that the paint wasn't sticking real well, so I may have to redo that later. I should have taken some sandpaper and touched that up before I painted it. So please do that for yourself though, if you would. Make sure you don't have any shiny aluminum. Otherwise, I like this. I really like the product. The Rust-Oleum bed liner paint. I think it worked out really well. I like it. Now I got to think up another project. There's lots that needs to be done. Here we go. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you around.